Hello students, a very good morning to one and all. Welcome to the second lecture of online theory class series of subject Novel Drug Delivery System. I am Aarti Majumdar, Associate Professor from the Department of Pharmaceutics, Smriti College of Pharmaceutical Education, Indore. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we have studied about the major limitations associated with the conventional drug delivery system and the reasons for the great interest for the development of the controlled release drug delivery system. We have also studied about the various terms and definitions which are related to the controlled drug delivery system, along with the advantages and disadvantages of these controlled drug delivery formulations. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the various factors influencing the design and performance of oral controlled drug delivery system. We are also going to summarize the various criteria used for the selection of drug candidates in the designing of controlled release drug delivery system. Dear students, now coming to the factors influencing the design and performance of oral controlled release drug delivery system, they may be factors which are related to the physicochemical properties of the drug. They may be biological and pharmacokinetic factors. They may be some physiological factors, or maybe the factors related to pharmacology. Then, now in the factors related to the physicochemical properties of the drug, which include various factors like aqueous solubility of the drug, partition coefficient of the drug, molecular size and diffusivity properties of the drug, drug stability, protein binding, drug pK and ionization at physiological pH. In the biological and pharmacokinetic factors, we have to take into consideration about absorption, distribution, metabolism, along with first pass metabolism and enzyme induction and inhibition on multiple dosing. We have also taken into consideration about the duration of action and biological half-life of the drug. Then we have to discuss about margin of safety along with therapeutic index and side effects. Now, in the physiological factor, in this point, we have to study about the variability in gastrointestinal emptying and motility. Also, we have to take into consideration about the variations in the gastrointestinal blood flow. Pharmacological factors include factors like drug tolerance. Now students, let's start our discussion about the factors relating to the physicochemical properties of the drug. Under this heading, the first point is aqueous solubility. After administration of drug through any suitable dosage form, the drug availability in case of controlled drug delivery system is largely governed by the release kinetics of the drug instead of the absorption. Because in case of controlled release drug delivery system, the rate of release of drug from the dosage form is the rate limiting step. It is the slowest step. Unlike in conventional drug delivery system, the rate limiting step is the absorption of drug from the dosage form. As after administration of conventional drug delivery system, the drug is released immediately and is absorbed slowly. However, for the drug to be absorbed from the dosage form into the body, it has to be first available in a solution form. So, the drug having poor aqueous solubility are the poor candidate to be formulated as controlled release drug delivery system. Also, the drugs having pH dependent solubility profile are the poor candidate to be formulated as oral controlled drug delivery system, because there is variation in pH throughout the gastrointestinal tract. Starting from the mouth where the pH is near to 7, in stomach it reaches as low as 2, and reaching to the intestine and colon where it is between 7 to 8. According to the biopharmaceutical classification system of drugs, class 1 drugs, that is those drugs which are having higher solubility and higher permeability, and also the class 2 drugs which are having lower solubility and higher permeability, they are the good candidates, they are the suitable candidates to be formulated as oral controlled release drug dosage form, and even other controlled release drug delivery systems which are meant to be administered by using other routes. And the class 3, BCS class 3 drugs are those drugs which are having higher solubility and lower permeability, and class 4 drugs which are having lower solubility and lower permeability are the poor candidates to be formulated as controlled release drug delivery system. Now, coming to the role of partition coefficient in the designing of controlled release drug delivery system. Partition coefficient can be defined as the fraction of drug in an oil phase to that of an aqueous phase. Drug having higher values of partition coefficient can permeate easily into the biological membranes which are lipidic in nature. In the designing of controlled drug delivery system, whether it is reservoir type in which the drug is incorporated in the core which is surrounded by the outer layer of a rate controlling membrane, or in case of monolithic or matrix types of controlled release drug delivery system, in which the drug is incorporated uniformly distributed throughout the matrix which is made up of a rate controlling polymer. For the drug to be released in a controlled pattern, it has to be first partitioned into the rate controlling membrane or matrix. So, the drug having lower value of partition coefficient are not suitable candidate to be formulated as controlled release drug delivery system, because they will be unable to partition into the membrane. And also the drugs having very high values of the partition coefficient are also not suitable candidates for formulation as controlled release formulation, because once they get partitioned into the lipidic membrane or the rate controlling membrane, they will not be able to release after once getting into the membrane. So a balanced value, medium value of the partition coefficient is required for the drugs, so that they could be formulated successfully into controlled release drug delivery system. Okay, so the next point is molecular size and diffusivity of drug. Diffusivity is defined as the ability of drug molecules to diffuse through the membrane, whether it may be a rate controlling polymer membrane or maybe it is a biological membrane. Diffusivity of drug is inversely proportional to the molecular size. Most of the drugs, about 95% of the drugs which are administered into the body, they are absorbed through passive diffusion. But for the drugs having molecular size higher than the 600 Dalton, this passive diffusion is difficult. So molecular size and diffusivity is to be considered before the designing of controlled release drug delivery system. Next point we are going to discuss is drug PK and ionization. Dear student, we all have studied so far that most of the drugs which are administered into the body, they are either weak acids or weak bases, which exist both in ionized state and in unionized state. For the drugs which largely exist in the ionized form, they are the poor candidate to be formulated as controlled release drug delivery system, because the absorption of ionized form of drug is much lesser as compared to that of its unionized form. So the drugs, acidic drugs whose pK is between 3 to 7.5 and the basic drugs whose pKa is between 7 to 11 are considered as suitable candidates to be formulated as controlled release drug delivery system. Students, now the next point to be discussed is drug stability. The drugs that are unstable in the gastric environment, they have to be formulated in as delayed release drug delivery system. We have already studied about what are delayed release drug delivery system in our previous lecture. These are such systems which releases the drug after a lag period of time. So the drug is not released in stomach after administration. It will be released after a lag period of time when the dosage form reaches into the intestine. Also, the drugs which are susceptible to the gut wall metabolism, and also if they are unstable in intestine, these types of drugs are not the suitable candidate to be formulated as controlled release drug delivery system. Now the next point is protein binding. Whenever the drug is administered in the body through a suitable dosage form which releases the drug in the plasma, it may happen that a fraction of drug may bind to the proteins like albumin and globulin and other plasma proteins. So this fraction of drug which binds to the protein, it is unavailable for the absorption. So the drugs showing high degree of protein binding are not the suitable candidate for the formulation of controlled release drug delivery system, because it may result in unpredictable drug response. Now students, moving towards the discussion of biological and pharmacokinetics factors which are influencing the design and performance of controlled release drug delivery system. Coming to the first point, that is absorption. The main objective of formulating controlled release drug delivery system is to regulate the drug release to a desirable rate. An efficient controlled release drug delivery system is that which is able to release the drug completely, and that released drug should be absorbed into the body completely. But sometimes it may happen that the fraction of drug absorbed is lesser than expected. This may happen because of many reasons, like degradation of drug in the body, maybe higher degree of protein binding, maybe low aqueous solubility, or maybe lower value of partitioning coefficient. So the absorption should be taken into consideration. Now, next point is distribution. The drugs having a high apparent volume of distribution, which further is related to the higher rate of elimination, are the poor candidates for the formulation of controlled release drug delivery system. Now, coming to the next point, that is metabolism. It is the process which renders an active drug moiety into an inactive metabolite, or it may convert an inactive drug, that is prodrug, into an active form. Along with metabolism, two other aspects needed to be studied, which are enzyme induction and inhibition upon multiple dosing and first pass metabolism. So, in the chronic therapy for any disease, the drugs have to be administered for a prolonged duration of time. In such cases, the drugs which induces or inhibits enzyme synthesis, they are the poor candidates to be formulated as controlled release drug delivery formulations, because they result in unpredictable, non-uniform blood plasma concentration. Also, the drugs having extensive first pass metabolism or intestinal metabolism, they are the poor candidates for the formulation of controlled release formulations, because they result in low bioavailability and unpredictable therapeutic response. Next point is duration of action and biological half-life. Duration of action is defined as the time period up to which the drug shows its effect after administration. Duration of action of any drug is dependent on the biological half-life. Biological half-life can be defined as the ratio of as a time period in which its concentration in the body reduces to the half of its maximum concentration. So, the drugs having biological half-life shorter than 2 hours or the drugs having biological half-life or T-half longer than 8 hours are not the suitable candidate to be formulated as controlled release formulation. Now, coming to the next point, that is margin of safety and therapeutic index. Margin of safety of drugs can be explained in terms of therapeutic index. Therapeutic index can be defined as the ratio of median lethal dose. Therapeutic index can be defined as the ratio of medium lethal dose or medium toxic dose, that is LD50, to median effective dose, that is ED50. So, for the drugs having lower value of therapeutic index, they have very narrow margin of safety and they are not the suitable candidate to be formulated as controlled release drug delivery system, because in controlled release drug delivery system, the a dose called as loading dose, it is incorporated along with and the next doses, subsequent doses, which are called as maintenance dose. So, controlled release drug delivery system contain dose more than the usual conventional dose. So, if in case dose dumping is observed, then it may even result into the mortality. Students, apart from drug-related factors and biological and pharmacokinetic factors, some physiological factors are also to be considered while designing of controlled release drug delivery formulation. Physiological factors such as variability in gastrointestinal emptying time and motility, which differs from person to person, and gastrointestinal blood flow are to be taken into consideration. Some pharmacological factors like drug tolerance is very important while designing the controlled release drug delivery formulation. So, let's understand what is drug tolerance. For the chronic therapy, when the drug has to be administered for the prolonged duration of time, sometimes changes may observe in the drug effect with respect to the dose of the drug. In this case, the desired therapeutic response, for obtaining the desired therapeutic response, the dose of drug has to be increased. So, for the drugs showing drug tolerance, the designing of controlled release drug delivery system may not be suitable, because if it is done, then the delivery system will be proved to be ineffective. So students, in today's session, we have discussed and well understood about the various factors influencing the design and performance of oral controlled drug delivery system. We have also studied about the various criteria which are to be considered in the designing of controlled release drug delivery system. Thank you.